Good afternoon. Welcome back to Music Scrap, the musical scrapper, impromptu Wednesday, filling in for another one of the fibs who was not able to. Joycey wasn't able to stream today, has to save her voice a little. So I thought I'd get some time in. But we have a lot of new fibs, friends in the box, in our group who may have never seen who've only ever seen me watercolor and haven't seen my art journals. So I found Paula first, and then Dee Dee, almost 8 years ago now, on Ustream. And I watched them actually. I was doing scrapbooking and card making, traditional card making back then. And I watched them for at least 3 years before I even started to put I couldn't understand the whole layering. As much as I watched Paula do it, and actually Carrie too was a master of layering, and Dee Dee, I couldn't figure out the whole layering thing. It was confusing to me, and I couldn't understand it. And I bought acrylic paint to start doing it, and then I was like, well, how do you do it? Well, then out came Jelly Arts with the jelly plate. And all of a sudden, when I was watching them use the jelly plate, because when you jelly plate and you add your layers, you do it backwards, right? And so, or add one like layer on layer. And suddenly it clicked. I don't know why, but for some reason, when I was watching someone do all these layers with the jelly plate, I was like, oh, for some reason it just clicked, even after 3 years of watching Paula. And so I bought myself actually I made a homemade one using gelatin first, just to see if I would use it and see if I would like it. And I did, so I bought my jelly plates. And that was the first that I tried acrylic paints. Yummy paste. Now this is my this is my white mask. My paste is all in my cart. I've got lots of paste, Lena. I'll show you one of my paste. I have a paste page in my journal. So the first art journaling that I really did was I used, for some of the backgrounds, I was using my jelly plate and then adding on top. And so I did NaNoJumo in 2013. So this is my NaNoJumo for 2013, which is National Art Journaling Month, which is November. Okay, so this is a fabric. I jelly printed on fabric for my cover, and I bound this myself. All right, so the prompts that year were songs, and the first song was Let It Be. And of course, I immediately thought, oh, okay, hold on, I'm going to try something here. See how close up it does with 720. There we go. Okay, so that works at 720. All right. Let It Be. So I automatically thought, oh, the Beatles, Let It Be. So this is my art journal page for Let It Be. There will be an answer. And also, once I started art journaling with the music, either lyrics or title in mind, suddenly the freedom to art journal kind of popped, and it made the other link, you know. So then I had the link for the idea, and I had the link for the layering using my jelly plate. So that was my very first kind of art journal page, really. Then I didn't like her songs at all. It wasn't even that Let It Be was some other strange Let It Be song that was not the Beatles. Anyway. And I did not like her style of music at all, but I wanted to keep up with it, so I just chose my own songs, my own playlist to inspire me. So I call this my playlist art journal. So this is Ordinary Miracle by Sarah McLachlan. So you can see that I jelly printed on the paper first, And then added some other layers, drew the rainbow. And of course, folks like Eileen and the oldies have all seen my journal pages before, but it's been a while since I did a prompt. This one is I Hope You Dance by Leanne Womack, or Womack, whatever you say her name. Leanne, yeah, anyway. I Hope You Dance, so you can see my jelly printed page down below with this dancer mask that I have. Just a second. My chat hasn't moved in a few minutes, so. Oh, no, okay. As long as it's working. All right, just making sure. Then this is, these are the times. This was actually her song, and I knew it, so I went with it. The times they are changing. So once again, the jelly plated background, the clock, young girl turns into an older, into a lady, and then she meets a guy. The times they are changing. So, oh, is it really dark? So this was my very first landscape that I did ever. I used acrylic paint. I wasn't watercoloring yet then. I'm not crazy about my reflections in the river, but I love how my sky turned out. I love my sky. I like how the mountains turned out mostly. I could have done a better kind of fade out along here, but anyway. Not bad for my first ever landscape. Bring On Tomorrow is the finale song for the Broadway musical version of Fame the musical. Bring on tomorrow, let it shine. Da 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 da. Then I did a collage for this one. Our Last Summer by ABBA, which is my favorite band when I was going through high school and stuff. Our Last Summer. And of course it talks about being in Paris. So there's that traffic circle, famous traffic circle in Paris, the Mona Lisa, the French flag, and the Eiffel Tower. Our Last Summer. Our last summer, do-do-do-do-do, ABBA, ABBA, ABBA. This is my first ever face that I did. The poor thing. She's a little bit long from eyes to lips. Her eyes are a little bit high. They needed to be down there. But anyway, she's got a way, Billy Joel. She's got a way about her. Still can't sing. Ignore my voice. I lost my voice last May when I coughed for 4.5 weeks with the flu, and it has not come back yet. And then this just a weird, strange page. Goodbye, yellow brick road. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Elton John. There's the yellow brick road, kind of blowing up with the... That's copper metallic. And this was when I started using my the green. Here's the green yellow Dyna Pebeo paints. Yes, thank you, Lena. The Arc de Triomphe. This is still one of my favorite ever journal pages. I love how this turned out. I love the background. I love the stencil. I love how I made it 3D with the black. I love this. I love the picture. This is from Mulan, I think. Mulan. Christina Aguilera, I think. When will my reflection show who I am inside? Everyone's really quiet. I think I'm putting everybody to sleep. My chat. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a doo-doo place awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Oh, gosh. I can't stand that. I can't. Anyway, so I've got lots of circles going on here and layers. And our circle of life there, family. This one I love. I had some help making this work because I tried to do him kind of like as a silhouette in a cloud, like a thinking cloud, and then it didn't work. It looked horrible. So then I had to turn it into a sun. Thanks, Lena. So this was for Remembrance Day. And there's a song by a Canadian folk artist called Terry Kelly called A Pittance of Time, and it's amazing. You can look it up on YouTube, A Pittance of Time. And he wrote and performed it, and it brings tears to my eyes every time because it talks about, like, people, can't you give, 2 minutes of silence? Can't you stop on November 11th? At 11 o'clock, can't you give at least 2 minutes for the men and women who gave their lives, for us in war so that we can have peace? And so the part of the chorus is, in peace may they rest, lest we forget why they died. Take a pittance of time. So I love that. No, I'm not really stressing my voice, I don't think, Dot. And then Somebody's Eyes. This is from there's that blue black. It's kind of like a shimmery Payne's gray. Really, it's very pretty. What's it called? Not Flash. I always want to think Flash. Footloose. Footloose, the Broadway musical Footloose. I'm not sure if it's in the movie or not, but it's somebody's eyes. Somebody's eyes are watching. Somebody's eyes are done. It's when the kids are talking about always being watched and not allowed to dance and all that stuff. And so there's, somebody's eyes watching them through the night. Then this is my Take Me Home Country Roads. I never did go back and fix my poor trees. I wasn't very good at doing trees back then, as you can see. Anyway, and this is John Denver, Take Me Home Country Roads. That's why we put the eyes on him, or the glasses on him. Take me home, country roads. As you can tell, love music, love musicals. So this is the finale from the musical Rent. 525,600 minutes. So, spring, summer, winter, fall, winter. So these were added on. I did them on black paper, and then I stamped them, and then fussy tore them. These half crescents are a stencil that I created. Love Potion number 9. I ended up with this really funky background, so I thought, ooh, that's kind of psychedelic. So that kind of fit with the Love Potion number 9 song. Excuse me. Getting some water. Then this is Light the Fire Within. Mariah Carey, I think, sang it at the Atlanta Summer Games opening ceremonies, I think. That's the kind of metal podium idea. These are stencils that I have, people stencils. Oh, welcome back, Dee Dee. Dee Dee, did you see my palette? Look, see the cute little palette? There it is with paint in it. How cute is that? Wasn't sure if you were here when I showed it earlier. This is my very first journal, Dee Dee. You'll remember this. 2013, 5 years ago. Like a Candle in the Wind. And these, I tried to do transfers. So they kind of turned out okay. And of course, Elton John did this. The original was for Marilyn Monroe. And then after Princess Diana passed away, he did a version for her. Okay, good. And this is The Rose. This was a transfer. I was practicing transfers, gel transfers, for a couple of days there. Just remember that in the winter. I like this one. Dee Dee probably likes this one. God is watching us from a distance. Bette Midler, of course. I like this page. This page is kind of neat. I traced this. I didn't draw it. Butterfly Kisses. That kind of, I think I need to kind of go over and make that a little darker, but I'm scared to mess it up. But the butterflies were a stencil, and the background was on my jelly plate. Some stencils. I didn't fix the steps. The steps are totally on the wrong angle. Other than that, I like this page. My lines for my steps need to be going this way, not this way. It looks like the steps are all crooked. Anyway, so this is Under the Boardwalk. Bette Midler version. Several versions of it. And this was an homage to my mom and dad. I'm who I am because I met you. My mom and my dad. Yeah, I have, haven't I, Dee Dee? Yeah. Tiny Dancer, another Elton John. Elton John's my favorite male singer, so quite a few songs by him. And then the last one on this page, I like this one too. I really like, this makes me happy when I look at it, because I remember this song. My Coat of Many Colors, of course, by not Tammy Wynette, Coal Miner's Daughter, Lynn, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, really, Norma? Yeah, because it starts out, the original is, Goodbye, Norma Jean, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Yeah, he wrote it as an homage to Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. So this is all paper pieced. I jelly plated a couple of different pieces of paper, and then I just cut it up into squares, and then I collaged it on. Now, granted, I should have a back here so that it's filled in too, but you know what, whatever. So that's the last page in there. I didn't quite get to. I ran out of, every year when I start to do my NaNoJumo, then I have to start doing Christmas stuff, and so I get all off schedule. So it didn't all get finished in at Christmas time, or in November. Oops. But I kept going anyway. So then my next journal, then I went on to a Dylusions journal, and I need to zoom this out some, I think. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Just a second. Oh, no, I don't want that. All right, just a moment here. I'm going to switch something. I hope if it kicks me off, I'll be back, okay? Am I still live, you guys? It's really strange how, hold on. Okay. There we go. All right. Oops. All right. Okay, there we go. All right. Very funny, Dee Dee. Minicam. Yep. All right. So this is a Dylusions, and this was the original Dylusions. Patty sent me this. Patty Tolly Parrish sent me this, along with a pack of 1,000 sheets of deli paper. So I jelly printed the cover myself using my Dyna paints. Okay. So this was my next journal. This was a day I was having kind of a bad day. So I decided to do a journal page. And it was just like, I feel like I'm falling to pieces. So I just got some puzzle pieces, painted it all black, did some copper. Okay, so I'm going to have to check my recording then. No, my recording, it shouldn't hurt the recording, so, right, okay. Yeah, I had to switch back to my camera in order to get ManyCam to accept my webcam's Zoom, I guess. So, oh well, thanks, Dee Dee. See, to me, like when I do my art, it has to. I don't just art for the sake of art, and I know Dee Dee doesn't either. Dee Dee doesn't usually always share her thoughts though behind her pages because she likes us to have the thoughts. But like I learned that art journaling, I had to connect it to me or to a story or to a quote for it to work. Now this page was based on an art and a lesson in the what's it called? The whole year. What's that art class that goes the whole year? Not Wonderlust, the other one. Life book. It was based on a life book lesson taught by Tam. And so the quote was sweet April showers do spring May flowers. So there's a spring. Ha ha ha. So this is 2015 now. Somehow I missed a year in there. So, I did a lot of scrapbooking, I guess. This I was playing with transfers again, so it kind of didn't turn out as well as I want, but it kind of gives a good, an interesting feeling to it. And this I did in Malala Yousafzai. I'm not sure how to Yousafzai. I'm not sure how to say your name, so I'm just going to call her Malala. The girl who was attacked in Pakistan for insisting on going to school. Anyway, so she has this quote. It says, "Let us remember one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher can change the world." No meditation, Eileen. You know me. I skipped all the meditation lessons. I don't meditate. This is just a page. I put down some extra paint. It'll probably get... Someday I'll glue it together because I don't art on pages that are kind of already started. Plus, I like to go in order, so I can't go back and put something here because then it wouldn't be in order. So I'm either just going to leave them like this or glue them together. This was just, I had some extra paint. The first Maryland art retreat, I made a stencil. And so I just had some extra paint left over, so I just kind of played with that. Oh, is it a bit scratchy? Okay, just a minute, Dee Dee, I'll check. Just a second. I'm going to switch. And switch. Oh. Okay, is that better, Dee Dee? Is that okay, guys? I'm using my lapel mic, Dee Dee. Look at this. I bought a lapel mic. So I'm trying to get used to that. I can't do abstract. I said I can't do abstract with my watercolor. Not with my watercolor. I can do it in my art journal. My backgrounds and stuff. This was a Christmas one. Believe, because believing is seeing. And this is actually, the black is a stencil, a paper cutout, a die cut. So the window is a die cut, and then I painted inside the die cut, and then I just drew on the window ledge there. Oh, okay, Dee Dee, maybe it could have been rubbing against, it might have been rubbing against my zipper. So that could have been it. Okay. Extra paint, and at the first Maryland art retreat, Paula showed us how to do transfers with packing tape. So she has on Paula Journal Artista on her YouTube channel. If you go in and search her YouTube channel, she has done YouTube videos showing how to do this packing tape transfer with images. So, yeah. Okay, so this page turned out because, I'm going to go back to it, because I was doing this page, and I had gotten this far, and then I added some of my blue-green Dinah on it, and I didn't like it at all. So you can see some of the green coming through there. Ooh. Wow. Did that just suddenly go bright, or is it just me? You can see some of the green blue and the green. I didn't like it, so I just took some black gesso and painted over it. And then someone said, oh, now it looks like a blackboard. And I was like, oh, cool. So then I found this image, colored her, and fussy cut her out and pasted her on. And then Sunset Carol found me this quote, dream in 3/4 time and you can waltz through life. And I used my white Pitt pen, big brush Pitt pen, because these don't dry right away. So I went in and just after I put the letter on, I smudged it. Then I did the next letter, smudged it so that it looks like chalk. Dee Dee, funny. And so then this is the one I was doing. So they kind of have a similar background because this is one I was trying to do. This is when that first big Paris attack happened. And so the quote is, a choir is made up of many voices, including yours and mine. If one by one all go silent, then all that will be left are the soloists. Don't let a few determine the nature of the sound. It makes for poor harmony and diminishes the song. And that's by Vera Nazarian. So, I just had some leftover paint, so I just put it on here, and some paint left on stencil, so I just plucked them on. Oh, and now it's dark. Dee Dee, this doesn't usually happen. Oh, stop, Jean. This doesn't usually happen to me. Must be because I have shiny paper. Summer nights. Summer nights. I did a drive-in, and I was going to put cars here, and I kept meaning to put cars here, and then I thought, you know what? Our drive-in that we used to go to on summer nights is now closed. So there aren't any cars there anymore, so I just decided to leave it like that. Some more stencil stuff that was left over. This I did in Maryland. This colorful background, all these fancy, that is a napkin that I had. So I put the napkin on. Then I took this stencil, this daisy stencil, and stenciled in black over it. Then I made the letters and fussy tore those out. And the quote is from Kandinsky, an artist. Color is a power which directly influences the soul. Yeah, Jillian, I'm just doing, Joycey couldn't stream, so I thought I'd come on. I did a couple of, well, landscapes, one landscape and one to please Eileen in abstract. And then I thought I'd do a journal flip because we've got some new people since I did a journal flip. So that's just some leftover black stuff. Oh, this is, the plastic's coming off. I'm going to have to go back and add that whole plastic peeled off. That's okay. This was, let me find, so you can see. Oh, the paint all came off on here. That's kind of cool, isn't it? The paint stuck and the plastic part came off. But this is what, I cut my baggie. When I was flying home from Maryland, luckily I put my Dylusions paints in baggies, in a couple of baggies, and they all blew up. So I cut apart the baggie and glued it down, but now look, that's all kind of stuck to that background. That's really cool. I really like that. I might actually pull this up or just leave it like that so that you can see that leave it like a tip-in. Because that's so cool. That's really neat. Anyway. And so I called it Under Pressure because the song Under Pressure, I can't even remember the band. It wasn't Queen. It was one of those bands anyway. So Under Pressure is that page. They're not really sticking it, it's just the acrylic paint. August is like the Sunday of summers. So this image and this image and this image, those three images were napkins. And then the daisies are a stencil stamped on the quote. All right, Lena, are you ready? Grasp your pearls, as Dee Dee says to Janet. Lena, are you ready? This next page is for Lena. Here is Paste Heaven. Look at this, Lena. See that? This is a stencil by Stencil Girls. This is my paste. To draw, you must close your eyes and sing. Pablo Picasso. I hope Lena doesn't faint, but I love this page. It's Dylusions paints over my yes, I love paste. My next page has paste too. It's a different stencil. This was an homage to Vicki L. She was at the first Maryland retreat and she passed away a month after our retreat. She loved purple. So this is her page. It's like I just did it and then I flipped it. Yes, it's acrylic paint on top. Dylusions acrylic paint. And I did it fairly thick. These are all paste. The paisleys I did all as paste. All this design is paste. So I did the paste. On this one I did the paste right through the stencil. This is a page where I was trying to practice Paula's black, what does she call it? Black transfer, no, what does she call it? Black something technique. And I was doing it all wrong. Like, it wouldn't work for me, and I was doing the steps in the wrong order. So it didn't really work, trying to get the Dylusions ink to come through the white and the black, but I was doing it in the wrong order. And this was another try. I was trying it, and it once again wasn't working. Then I finally did it in the right order. And so I got the sprays to come through when I finally did it in the right order. And this is a lyrics from a song. So I close my eyes to old ends and open my heart to new beginnings. Nick Fredrickson. So I just kind of painted the background and added the butterflies. Thanks, Lena. Didn't quite get the shading look I was wanting there around her. It's a little thicker and darker than I wanted, but... And then a page there with leftovers from stencils and stuff. More leftover stuff. All right. Crying at all is not allowed, not in my castle on a cloud. This is from a coloring book page. I just colored and pasted it on, put her on a cloud, and the castle on a cloud. Of course, from Les Mis. Les Miserables. Now, this was cool because this is a coloring book page from a coloring book that I had. And I thought, I really liked how it turned out when I colored it. It took hours for me to color that. Hours. I did a lot of shading. I didn't do watercolor background or acrylic background like Dee Dee starts with. I just did it all in pencil. And so then I thought, I want to use this in my journal. So I pasted it in my journal. And then I just extended the rays here on this side. And it's Be Someone's Sunshine Today. Thanks, Lena. This is a coloring book page, cup of tea. Each cup of tea represents let's start that again. Each cup of tea represents an imaginary voyage. This edging is a stencil. So I have a stencil that has kind of that funky edge. I just drew the window, my own drawing. I can draw a square as long as I have a... This kind is a funky page. I kind of like this because I like the purple with the teal and the green, yellow-green. Preparation with opportunity generates the offering we call luck. Sorry, the meeting of preparation with opportunity, I should say, generates the offering we call luck. This was a St. Patty's Day one I did on St. Patrick's Day. That was just some leftover paint. Oh, I was trying to... Oh, yeah, I was trying... Oh, sorry. Just had a floating jelly print. I was trying to do some stars, and it didn't work out at all. So I flipped the page and started all over again. There are stars in our eyes. I think this is the only stickers from my Sticker Nation 2 that I've used. This is a stencil that I created, the stars here. And this one, oh, I love this page. I love how this page turned out. I was playing with my, these are Dylusions paints. Absolutely love Dylusions paint. So I just painted the, like in a rainbow, the Dylusions inks. Then I put down this hand stencil. Oh no, then I did this. This is a Canadian actor. I can't even remember his name because I did it by transfer. I had seen a video on how to do better gel transfers, and it worked really well. So I had wanted to try it and worked really well. Not that it has anything to do with this, but this is just people greeting this Canadian actor. I can't even remember his name, but he is quite a famous Canadian actor. Hey, Sophia. So these are letter masks that I have. They have repositionable tacky on the back of them. So of course I put the come together down when I painted, and then the balloons are painted on afterwards. So you can see that that the paint is quite opaque. It's acrylic paint, and it is quite opaque. So I love this one. I love that. Sun, there's way more to see. So once again, going through my transfer phase. Yay, Sophia's got her kids to bed. I'll be nice and quiet, Sophia. I don't want to wake them up on you. So this page was in response, and they did change it. They changed some of the wording of our national anthem to make it more politically correct. O Canada, in all our sons' command, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love. Yeah, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. Well, people didn't like that it said, like, all thy sons' command. Because, like, it's not just men that can rule the world. I'm like, really, people? PC can go too far. Ugh. Anyway, so now it's in all... The way they changed it, it doesn't even make grammatically... It's not grammatically correct. In all of... their command or something. I can't even remember what it is new, as I sing it the old way. So it's like PC or not PC, right? To be or not to be? That is the question. These are transfers from a coloring book, and I did okay, but I didn't get all of the paper off. So, and this was a transfer. I colored it first, the leaves. I colored the leaves on my coloring book page first, and then with Prismacolors, and then I did it as a jelly transfer. Isn't that cool? So the color from the Prismacolors transfers along with the color. So, I see, Sophia. The trick is, most of these were all done on streams, so you'll probably find them on my web page, on my YouTube, I mean. And then my cousin's son, oldest son, got married, and so this was the window that they was right up above. It's in the old Dell, one of the Dell club buildings, the staff club building. And so you can see the gold shining down here on them. That's because the sun was shining through this. So it was like stained glass, but it was all the panes were gold, stained glass gold. And so they had this beautiful, beautiful gold light shining down on them as they got married and said their vows. Originally she's from North Korea. Their family escaped from North Korea to South Korea, I think when she was like 2, and her younger brother was just a baby. And then they came over to settle in Charlottetown. And these were the Korean flowers that they had on the wall of the wedding. You've Got a Friend was one of the songs that they did their dance to. And then when they came back in for the dance, they had traditional, like Canadian, like a tux and a white wedding dress for the ceremony. But when they came back in for the reception and the dance, they were in traditional Korean that they bought in Korea and had made for them in Korea. So, hey, Ange! Let's see, I've got more in here. I've skipped pages by accident here. Oh, Lena, here's some more. All these bubbles I did with paste. Just Keep Swimming. This was when Finding Dory came out. So I had to do Just Keep Swimming, of course. And that's left over. Oh, no. This is these flowers with the black background, that was napkins. I had to use 2 to get enough. And then this border, these grapes were I don't think they were a napkin. I think they were like on a tissue paper or something that someone gave me for the border. And then the quote says, "You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere you feel free." I found that online. I don't think there was a reference. No problem, Sophia. Go ahead and art away. You've got to get your minutes in when you can. This is for the Summer Olympics, Rio 2016. So this was the artwork that was on a lot of the, so the background was the artwork that was on a lot of the venue posters and stuff. This is, believe it or not, this was what the torch looked like. And there's, of course, the map, and I put the rings where Rio de Janeiro is in Brazil. Ugly leftover paint. I wrote a song called Faces. So this is a page I did in reference to that. If you go online, you can, I'm pretty sure I recorded my song on my YouTube. It's called Faces. And these are the Jane, Stencil Girl, but I think they're Jane Davenport ones when she was there with. Okay, Ange. All right, let's see. So that's the end of that book. I gave up because I got the new one with the better paper. So I may eventually cut this out and use it for punch outs or cutouts I won't waste it. So that was that one. Let me put this back so that it's out of my way. And then Now this journal, I only have a few pages done in this one. So then I got the new one that has the nicer paper in it. And I decorated the cover. We must see that peace represents a sweeter music, a cosmic melody that is far superior to the discords of war. Martin Luther King Jr. I did this on Martin Luther King week or something. I can't, Eileen. I really would, but my cinch is seized. It won't work. I have to send an email to We Are Memory Keepers. I hope they'll replace it for me because it's like $170 now, and I can't do that at the moment. This page, I love this page. And I think I love it because it ended up being really close to watercolor, although I did it with acrylic. No, I didn't do it with acrylic. This one I did with watercolor. I used my Daniel Smith watercolor paste. What's it called? Yes, that's why I like it so much, because it is watercolor. Right. A painter paints pictures on canvas, but musicians paint their pictures on silence. Leopold Stokowski. Not sure who that is. So this was my first watercolor landscape, guys. And is that all I did in this book? Oh my gosh, I really did only do a couple in this book. So I need to, when I get back to art journaling, I will continue from there. Because then I went on to my watercolor. And so what I did a year ago, November, a year and a half ago, was it? Oh no, it was 2017. There was no NaNoJumo this past November, so I did some the World of Watercolor prompts. World Watercolor Month. When was that? July? Anyway, can't remember. So I made this little book. These are journal covers by Tim Holtz, I think. No, Seven Gypsies. Seven Gypsies journal covers. And I'm supposed to be this way, right? This is supposed to be the binding, but I like landscape, so this is World of Watercolor prompts. I printed out the prompts. Strong and Free for July. Oh, it was July, right. Yes, it was July 2017, right, because it was Strong and Free. Angela Fehr, any of you, F-E-H-R. She's a watercolor artist from northern BC, here in Canada. And she was asked the World of Watercolor Doodle Wash. Sorry, yes. Doodle Wash is the web page. Oh, yes, I know who he is now, Jillian Stokowski. Yes, isn't he the one that just passed away not long ago? I think he passed away just not long ago. Anyway. I knew that. So, Strong and Free, Canada 150 years. This past summer was Canada's, 2017 was our 150th birthday. So this was the logo for our 125th or 150th events. So then the second prompt was In the Shade. So this was the In the Shade. And then the next prompt, I think, was Shells. Sand and Seashells. So this was In the Shade. And then the next prompt was Sand and Seashells. So I just continued on the beach and made like a panoramic. So these are watercolor on watercolor paper. So this is where I learned my watercolor skills. All right, I'm going to hide that. So then July 4th was for red, white, and blue, of course, because it's the U.S. birthday. And this was my first attempt at this prompt. Summer skies. And I didn't mind the sky part, but I did not like how my reflection ended up here at the bottom. So I wrote myself a note, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I flipped it over, and I did a second attempt, which I liked a lot better. Still not great, but definitely better. Oh, okay, so he's not the one I thought he was. Never mind, thank you, Jillian. No, he didn't just pass away. He passed away in 1977. Oh, okay. He's not the one. There was a Russian composer who was just passed away. He was a conductor in Philadelphia or somewhere. Anyway. Excuse me. Then Boardwalk 1. I'm not going to go back and forth to the prompts because the prompts are all... Oh, so there's the... Hold on. Which was this? Oh, Friday Night Memories. I did not draw this. Oh, yes, I did. I thought I cut and pasted, but I didn't. I drew it. Colored it. That's the, come to the refreshment stand, the commercial between the two shows. This one, I love how it turned out. I love how my drink turned out. Summer tunes, Beach Boys, fun, fun, fun. Not really happy with how that one turned out, but I love how my beach turned out. This was based on a YouTube video by Anna. I should write her name on here because I always forget it. She's, I believe, from Russia. Anna something or the other. She did it. I love how it turned out. And some flowers with this is what Eileen was trying to get me to do, and it didn't work any better this day than it did today with my background there. There's a sunrise. Ha! My popsicle. I love how that one turned out. I think it even looked nice and frosty. And I love how my lawn bowling turned out. I think they turned out super. This is about as photorealistic as I've been able to do. And that's watercolor. I love how that one turned out. Lawn bowling. This was one about memories or something, or dreaming, daydreaming. So this person's sitting in their office on a dreary, rainy day, dreaming of a beautiful summer sunny day out in the country. Welcome back, Ange. There's my campfire that my sister ruined for me because she said my fire looks like the devil coming up out of the ground. See his eyes and his horns. So she ruined my fire on me. Lena. Oh dear. And this is a kite. It's about as close as I get to putting a person in my paintings. There's a wee lamb with a kitty on his back. I think it was like Good Friends or something was the prompt. In front of a nice stone wall. I like how my stone wall turned out. Yeah, I like the sheep. The sheep turned out okay though too. The kitty's okay. He's a little bit really long. Oh, he's a little longer than he should be, but anyway. Joan's on her way? Oh, okay. This one turned out really cool. This is my, pool. Of course, this is the pool deck, and then there's the water. And I used masking fluid to do the water. And a beach. So this is just like a 5x7 journal. I found it small, not quite as small as my 4x6s that I'm doing, but a lollipop. Coconut tree. This is the prompt was wind or something, windy day or in the wind or something like that. Love how my sky turned out. It's my rubber boots and my umbrella in the puddle. Yes, I use Microsoft Word Dot. Another landscape with some flowers. Another drink one. There's a sailboat sailing off into the sunset. Hey, Joan. My sunflower. I like how my sunflower turned out. Is my lollipops. It's doing some lines in blue. You have your typed song lyrics. You have green lettering on a white background, but when you print it, it does some lines in blue. Are the blue lines going through the text and the like through the white part and the words, or just through the words? If it's going just through the words, you might need to go through and do a cleaning the head cleaner. That poor sky. I'm not very happy with that sky. This is supposed to be splashes, the waves splashing up, but I didn't put any waves in the rest of the water, so that one turned out kind of weird. Yeah, so if it's perfect on the screen, then it must be your printer. So you may need to go through and do clean the heads of your printer. Your printer utility should have a print head cleaner option. Oh, okay, there. Sophia has, do what Sophia said. Oh, and my puffin. This is the end of this one. I love my puffin. So that's my flip through. I'm going to stop the recording, but I think I might do some more painting unless someone else is wanting to stream. But for right now, I'm going to stop this recording. If you watched my journal flips, thank you so much.